I don't get why they call it Magistus Shaddolls. Is it because I'm playing Magistus monsters? So if I play Paleozoic Dynamiscus, is it Paleozoic Shaddolls? If I play just Dogmatica Punishment, it's Dogmatica Shaddolls? The concept of naming a particular deck multiple things is when you mix those two things together, they work coherently, but they also work independently. Take for example, Invoke Shaddol. You have your Invoked, you have your Shaddolls. The Invoked engine can work independently on its own, and so can the Shaddoll deck. But they also work really, really well together. Now let's take for example the Magistus engine inside of Shaddolls. What? So just for the record, if you were to ask me, Magistus Shaddoll is pure Shaddoll. But in this video, I'm going to be giving you 3 different variants as well as budget options for a competitive Shaddoll deck profile for this format. Plus, I also didn't come here for no reason. I mean, these mango snacks are still really, really good. You know how when like your niece or your nephew or your little brother or whatever, he gets some food and he just go, I know it says party size, but I'm the party. Let's jump on in. So I'm pretty excited to show you the different variations that Shaddoll has. I'm going to be showing you Magistus, Invoked, and then a more pure build for you, Naturalist, or however you want to call it. What? You like the shirt? Boy, I know it's a Shaddoll Construct shirt. Boy, ain't it hot? Unfortunately, the shirt, the sleeves, the dice, and the mat that I'm going to show you guys, you can no longer buy. So, I mean, there's that, but they look really, really nice. If you have the opportunity to get them, you might want to get them. So I'm going to split this profile up into parts for the people that want to see a specific section of the video. And then for the people that want to watch the entire video, you a real one, we're going to be showing you guys everything you need to know about Shaddoll. So if you are watching this whole video, you're going to learn a lot. For the Shaddoll, for this particular Shaddoll deck, we run 3 copies of Wendi, 3 squamata, 2 hedgehog, house squamata, gotta say that every single time, 2 Ariel, and then just 1 beast, 1 dragon, 1 genius. This is pretty standard for any Shaddoll build. The top line with Wendi, squamata, hedgehog, and Ariel. The bottom line is also really standard between beast and dragon, and the reason why is because these 2 are your most important Shaddoll monsters. They allow you to pop off with whatever combo you're doing. These are the most important cards. Hedgehog searches any of your Shaddoll cards, and Ariel is the most disruptive Shaddoll card in your deck because not only is it a combo piece, it can also banish 3 cards from the graveyard. It's a DD Crow. Dragon is obviously spell and trap removal, and Beast is a free draw. The reason why I feel that Genius is really, really good is because it provides another layer of disruption. Sometimes you can go into Construct, but you need to be able to negate a monster on the field. Genius pops up for that. And then sometimes your opponent has multiple monsters on the field you need negated. Well, Apkallone and Genius can both negate those, or if your opponent has one form of disruption that will negate the negation, well, they can't negate 2, especially when you chain link them. So this card is really good in that aspect. It's amazing for breaking boards. But that's pretty much it. The Hell Shaddoll monster, I don't think is bad, but as you guys start to see the combos develop, you're seeing like there's no need for that card. Moving on to the Shaddoll spells and trap cards, we play 3 copies of Shaddoll Fusion, 3 copies of Naelshaddoll Fusion, 1 Resh, and 1 Schism. Now, when you, if you decide to play an invoked variant, you can drop the Naelshaddoll Fusions to 0, you can drop it to 1. Or you can play 3. It's really dependent on what you want to do with your particular deck. But the mandatory things are going to be Shaddoll Fusion and Resh Shaddoll Incarnation. If you guys cannot afford Shaddoll Schism, or I'm sorry, it's going to be Shaddoll Schism and Shaddoll Fusion. If you guys cannot afford Shaddoll Schism, it's okay. It's not the end of the world, but a lot of your combos do go out of the window. So all those times I was telling people to buy it when it was a $7 card, a $5 card, a $10 card, and a $20 card, probably should have listened, but still, there's still a reprint looming forward. If you can't wait that long, just get the Schism. It's worth it. It's probably the only card that I would seriously suggest that is expensive that you kind of need for this particular deck, because it does add that other layer of fusion summoning. Next, our starters are going to be 2 Mathematician and then 3 copies of Rilliona. So the reason why I like Rilliona over the Invoked engine At first I was like, okay, I just wanted to be different. You know what I mean? It was just that thing. But Rilliona actually has more combo potential than the Alistair, strictly because Alistair is a dark monster, and Invocation only allows you to fuse from hand unless you're going for an invoked monster. Some people don't know that. Rilliona is not only a light monster off the bat that you can send with Shaddoll Fusion, or just fuse without going into your Link 1. It also can search a free special summon, so in case we need to make a quick Dragoon or a quick Link 2, that's very applicable. So this card actually does have advantages over Alistair. It's more combo potential, but you do sacrifice not being able to make Mechaba when you do play this card. I still don't think one is better than the other. I still think they're equal, but I do like Rilliona just because it just provides so much. Only one Invocation. I feel like you only need one, and one copy of Vitra. So basically we run 11 fusion spells with 3 Rilliona, the Invocation, and then the 3 fusions, and then obviously the Schism. So odds are you're going to be able to get into that extremely high. And then the Vitra is really good because you go Rilliona, you link into your Link 1, and then you Vitra back the Verre, and then you can make a free Link 2 for whatever you guys are doing. And then Mathematician is Mathematician. It sends, literally most of the time you're just going to send Shaddoll Hedgehog to search a fusion Shaddoll monster. So I do mainboard 2 copies of Super Polymerazation. Wanted to play 3, but I think 2 is really solid. This card's really bananas in Shaddoll or Invoke decks. 1 Foolish Burial, and I also play the Dragoon engine. If you guys cannot afford the Dragoon engine, I suggest dropping the fusion for a 3rd Super Polymerazation. And then these 2 cards, because this is a 40 card deck, these can be dropped for more hand traps. Probably Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. I don't play it. Plot twist. Moving on to the hand traps, I only play 3 copies of Lancea and 3 copies of Nibiru. So when I first built this deck, the crazy thing was I played 3 Ash, 3 Nibiru, 3 Lancea, and the Gamma package. I played a lot of hand traps. And what I started to realize is that I was able to hand trap my opponent, but I wasn't able to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Myself. And that's something that the Invoke does have over the Rilliona engine, because obviously you're just playing Mechaba with hand traps. But the cool thing about this is that I only wanted to play high impact hand traps anyways. And not only are all of these cards light, they can potentially end your turn. Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring isn't a bad Yu-Gi-Oh card. I really need to make that video, but it isn't a great Yu-Gi-Oh card because you can't just Ash and expect your opponent like Rocket Dragon Link can pass. But you can Nibiru your opponent and put them in a situation where you can break their board, or you can Lancea your opponent, and a lot of times that is a Lancea pass. And the cool thing, again, even if you are playing against a deck that is not for some reason really good against these cards, you can just fuse them off. But that is it for the main board. For the sideboard, you can drop the Accescode Talker for Apollousa. We also run Selene, Predaplant Verte, Cross Sheep, Gravity Controller. Obviously drop the Verte if you can't afford it, or if you're not playing Dragoon. This actually can come out for an IP Masquerada. The Artemis. We're also playing triple Naelshaddoll Construct, most important card in the deck, just because of its Foolish Burial effect. Double Apkallone, double Wendi, 1 Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, and the open spot is anything you want, but I like Starving Venom Fusion Dragon because I am mainboarding Super Polymerazation. Okay, so now you guys have seen the Magistus Shaddoll deck. The thing that I like about this deck so much is that you can mix and match, and you can play it with any combination of cards that are light or that fuse, so that's really cool. It's really, really easy to invoke an engine such as the invoked engine inside of this deck. So basically, let's say we're playing those particular cards, we would drop the rest for hand traps, and you just basically take out that. Like, it's that simple. Pretty much by dropping all of these cards, you can fully fledge in an invoked engine inside of your deck. It is not hard to play invoked, as opposed to the Rilliona engine. For this particular deck, it's fairly easy. And depending on what other cards you decide to drop, you can play more or less hand traps depending on how you want to play it. Now, let's say you guys are on a super budget or just don't want to play the Magistus engine. Another alternative could be playing the Geldolgra engine and your Performage engine inside of your deck. So for budget players, what we would be taking out, of course, if you can't afford the Rilliona package, we'll take out the Rillionas with the Vitra and the Invocation. And then if we're super budget, we can take out the Red Eyes Fusion package as well. And then in response, since we are taking out what I believe 6 to 8, we can play another copy of Mathematician, and possibly another Shaddoll Beast, whatever fits your fancy for that 40th card. Possibly even a card like Polymerazation with the Fusion Repair Planner, whatever that card is, the Search Polymerazation. Those could all be cards that would help a lot. So whether you're a pure Shaddoll player, an Invoke Shaddoll player, or a budget Shaddoll player, of course, I got you covered on this channel. I love all types of Shaddoll players. As long as you don't incorporate Mystic Mind in your deck, I think we good over here. So moving forward, there are some other extra deck choices that you could be playing inside of your deck. Of course, I've already mentioned that IP Masquerena and Nightmare Unicorn. This is actually going to take the precedence over your Dragoon combo. You're going to wind up on your inboard being the Link 1 monster, the Gravity Controller, and IP, instead of Gravity Controller, Verte, and Dragoon, which means you'll be able to make a Unicorn for a form of disruption. If you guys are playing Lambda, I'd strongly consider playing, or I'm sorry, if you guys are playing Driver, I'd strongly consider playing Lambda in your deck. And then the other Shaddoll cards, as well as more Super Polymerazation targets, are really good. And then a card that I actually found out was pretty decent is, I don't know how to say this card's name, the Spell Spirit. This card can actually snatch an opponent's monster. It's pretty decent, and it's a Super Poly target too, so that could all come up. But that's pretty much it for the 3 deck profiles that I've shown you guys. Now I can show you guys some really cool combos. All right, guys, so moving on to the combo, the most basic combo for Shaddolls, or Rilliona Shaddolls, is going to require Rilliona and either Wendi or Squamata. How's Squamata doing? Gotta ask all my boys out there. We're gonna go ahead and use Squamata because he's no Goomba, and I'll be even able to show you a combo that I thought of with the Shaddoll Hollow, and the reason why I scrapped it with this particular combo. So the reason why this deck is just so powerful, and the reason why I love it so much, is because just these 2 cards is going to net you a pretty significant combo. And for you budget players, all you have to do is change a few cards in your golden. So first thing you're going to do is normal summon Rilliona using its effect to add your invocation, and then fuse both Squamata and the Rilliona into Shaddoll Construct. Trigger both the effects of your Construct and your Squamata. If you did use Wendi, make sure to send the Squamata to send an additional card. But we're going to send both the Incarnation and the Wendi. And here is me trying to use Shaddoll Hollow to its fullest extent. What I was doing is that I was special summoning it face down to my side of the field, and then on my opponent's turn, I can Incarnation the Hollow face up and banish an opponent's monster, also sending a card like Apkallone to the graveyard to get another disruption. But this just, I mean, it's not worth playing the brick. If Hollow was like a level 4 non-brick with a good graveyard effect, then we'd be talking different. But you know, unfortunately that's not the move. But use the effect of Wendi to special summon Ariel to your side of the field, and then immediately link off the Construct into your Gravity Controller. If you guys have a different Shaddoll card, spell or trap in your graveyard, go ahead and add it to your hand. But we don't in this particular situation. We'll use the Incarnation and the Squamata to reveal the Ariel, using her flip effect to special summon Construct. And then Construct's effect, since it's not once per turn, will send Schism to the graveyard. So for you budget players, we're going to be using Naelshaddoll Ariel and Construct for the IP Masquerena, and then adding the Schism back to our hand. That allows us to get a Nightmare Unicorn or Apollousa Bow of the Goddess. I know I didn't have it in my cards that you should play, but Apollousa is a card you should strongly consider if you are playing the budget variant. But for us, we're going to go ahead and link both of those monsters off into, where is that card? I don't know where I put that card. It was in my hand this whole time. Link summon into your Predaplant Verte Anaconda, using its effect to be able to send a Red Eyes Fusion in the Red Eyes monsters for your Dragoon. Also, Construct would have added the Schism back into our hand. So this particular board with 2 cards, we have Gravity Controller, Verte, and a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, as well as access to any Shaddoll Fusion monster in our extra decks, whether it's Apkallone, Construct, or Wendi. The thing that I like about this particular variant so much is that we have protection for the Shaddoll Schism, as well as Dragoon is a very powerful card going first and second, and that's the reason why I prefer this card over the IP Masquerena and Unicorn. But if you can't afford the Dragoon, this is still a really, really solid option. Okay guys, so for the next combo, I'm going to show you guys different cards, but the exact same thing. So it may seem like you might want to skip this, but don't do that, because it's some spice afterward. The very basis of this particular combo requires Mathematician and a Shaddoll Fusion card, or any fusion card for that matter. But to go advanced super turbo HyperX graphics, I'm gonna go ahead and use Naelshaddoll Fusion, and you'll see why. You'll also be able to see why Shaddoll Genius is a big brain in this combo. We gon' pop off. So I'm gonna start off by normal summoning Mathematician and using its effect. We'll use its effect to send Shaddoll Hedgehog from the deck to the graveyard and then activate its effect to add squamata. We do need a light monster, so we'll link off Mathematician into Artemis, and hopefully you guys are starting to see the combo now. I'm actually just gonna speed through it because it's that obvious. Fuse, Construct, 1/2, send Resh, send Wendi, Wendi effect, Nail and face down, link off Construct, Gravity Controller, and this time I will get Construct to add the fusion back, banish Resh, banish Construct, flip up the Ariel, special summon Construct, Construct effect, send Schism, feels like a dirty word, Construct plus Ariel, Predaplant Verte Anaconda, my Anaconda don't, Construct effect, add that Schism, Anaconda effect, Red Eyes Dragoon. So here you guys have seen the exact same board, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, Shaddoll Schism. This time around, we're going to have an extra component in Naelshaddoll Fusion. Let me show you how that changes the ball game. I swear, if Naelshaddoll Fusion was actually searchable, I'd strongly consider just maxing out on Mathematician and doing this combo every single time. So Schism does allow us to banish a light monster and a Shaddoll monster to special summon or fusion summon. Now I know what you guys are thinking, why not summon Wendi? Well, because I can special summon Construct. I can even use Construct's effect to send a card from the deck to the graveyard. Here's where Ghost in the Past comes to the future or present. So hypothetically, if my opponent had no interactions and I wanted to be lazy, I can send Wendi to special summon Beast. And then I can use our Naelshaddoll Fusion to fuse the Construct plus the Vert into a Wendi if I really wanted to. Or I could be huge brain. Construct can either send from our decks to the graveyard the Nehshaddoll Genius, which allows me to negate an opponent's monster. Then I can use Naelshaddoll Fusion to fuse my Construct and my Vert. This can send Wendi from the deck to the graveyard to special summon the Genius to my side of the field. And then I can fuse Construct in my Genius. Let me go ahead and fuse these two because this is so dope. Fusion summon to that Apkallone, and now I have the effects of Construct to be able to add the fusion, but that's chain link 3. I have Genius effect to negate and Apkallone's effect to negate. Boy, that is amazing. Being able to have all 3 options as well as disruptions on top of disruptions inside of your deck that can be utilized on your opponent's turn is a Shaddoll Construct's dream. You give her that, you gave her the world. In our last combo I would like to share with you guys is our kill shot combo. This combo can be done in so many different ways. I'm actually just going to use Rilliona, Wendi, and a light monster. It doesn't really matter to perform this combo, but it can be done with just Shaddoll Fusion, your opponent controlling a monster spell from the extra deck, and Rilliona. It really does not matter. There's so many ways to do it. But just so you guys can get the gist of certain cards and while we play them in the extra deck, I'm going to use it this way. I'm going to normal summon Rilliona. Rilliona will add an invocation, and this time I'm going to fuse the Nibiru in the Wendi. I'll fusion summon into Construct using her effect and then triggering the effect of Wendi. I will send Squamata, and I will still special summon that Ariel to my side of the field. Squamata will send Reeshaddoll Incarnation. And then instead of linking into Gravity Controller, I actually link Rilliona and my Construct into a cross sheet. I'll use the effect of Reeshaddoll Incarnation. We'll banish the Incarnation and the Construct. We'll flip up the Naelshaddoll Ariel, and then we'll special summon the Construct to where cross sheet points to. We'll trigger both the effect of Construct and our cross sheet. Construct will send a Naelshaddoll Fusion, and with the effect of cross sheet, make sure you special summon a spellcaster monster. So as you can see, we've amassed quite some board. I'm gonna go ahead and link off the cross sheet and my Rilliona. We'll link off into Selene. Now this does require either a little bit of help from the opponent or an additional spell card in the graveyard. I only have 2, but assuming that we all play Yu-Gi-Oh! And spell cards are important, it shouldn't be that hard to find 1 spell card additionally in either player's graveyard. We'll put 3 counters on the Selene, and even if it doesn't, it kind of still doesn't matter because you know, we kind of have enough monsters. And then we'll use Selene's effect to special summon Rilliona. Next, we will link off Rilliona and the Selene. Make Accescode Talker, which is a pretty good Yu-Gi-Oh card. Accescode Talker immediately provides you 2 disruptions by being able to destroy 2 cards on the side of the field. We're not done yet. we can still link off the Construct and the Ariel into Predaplant Verte Anaconda using that spice to be able to fusion summon into that Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, and then being able to add Naelshaddoll Fusion if we have a Shaddoll card in our hand on our opponent's turn. For some reason, if 5,800 damage is not game, I'm sorry, 9,300 damage is in game, we can still use Shaddoll Fusion on our opponent's turn to fuse that Verte Anaconda and a random Shaddoll monster right into that Naelshaddoll Wendi, locking them out of the game. Well, that is all that I have for Shaddoll's post Ghost from the Past in April 2021. Really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to check out that Shaddoll live duel as you guys get to see even more impressive action. And if you guys have any personal questions, then I do have a Patreon where Patreons do ask me that all the time. As always, I hope you guys are having an amazing day, and I'll catch you on the next video. Please tell me, how's squamata doing?